World Mental Health Awareness Day. I've been working on my mental health for almost a year now. That looks ugly often because you have to face things you choose not to face when they were fresh. Sometimes it seems scary, mostly from an outsider's perspective, but it's not. I'm not afraid of any of this anymore. I'm facing my challenges head on. It's a weird place to work on your mental health and share it with others. I no longer subscribe to the keeping it quiet about my private life stuff. Screw that. In today's world, there's an endless supply of fake and false happiness, fake perfect relationships, fake success. It's a struggle to find anything real anymore. So many people see that, compare themselves to it, and beat themselves up. Don't do that. We are all on our journeys. Stop comparing yourself to others. Stop thinking you're doing it wrong. Your path doesn't look like anyone else's because it can't, it shouldn't, and it won't. I refuse to share anything but what is real. If that looks like I've lost my mind, perhaps your perception of real life has been ruined by reality shows and social media. Or maybe you still subscribe to the mentality that a person should keep quiet about private stuff. If that works for you, fine, but it doesn't work for me. It's my bet you're storing a ton of unresolved emotions. Don't do that. That'll end up as a health issue, for real. That's what's happened to me. But more on that in another post. Maybe your life has truly been good and #blessed from the start. We should all be so lucky. I do a copious amount of psychedelics as part of my healing. I've done an enormous amount of research, as I do with anything I put into my body. My therapist is on board with it, although I never asked her permission. She helps me sort out what came to me in a psychedelic journey. It's been about a month since I've done any psychedelics. She actually encouraged me to do them in our session today because I haven't had a significant breakthrough and have even become somewhat complacent or regressed a bit. As a C-PTSD survivor, I'm a master of disassociation and avoidance behavior, to the point that I can even avoid psychedelic therapy. Look at me now, I'm even avoiding doing the drugs. Just kidding. It's a plant medicine that's literally thousands of years old. But it's occasionally funny to call it drugs. It worries people, and that makes me laugh. I know exactly what I'm doing. Some friends of mine are confused, judgmental, or have had other ill feelings about this new version of me. I feel it, and I know it. I'll dive deeper into the spiritual aspects of this in my channel, but know now that my third eye is open, and I see things differently now. I realize nothing is forever or promised. Thank you for the moments that we've shared. I wish you well. Maybe our paths will cross again, but it's cool if they don't. To the friends of mine that I personally reached out to, and there were several from both sides of my life, asking for some form of help or support when I was at my literal breaking point, and I didn't know how I was going to survive when I was super struggling, well, thank you too for the lesson. At that moment in my life, I was the most vulnerable and afraid for survival. Sometimes I still am, but I am much stronger now. You see, people with C-PTSD are incredibly independent. We don't ask for anything because we were trained early that we couldn't rely on anyone. We were let down way too many times. But to those I asked because I thought you were different. In the end, you were really a much needed lesson. You see, as humans, we tend to repeat or seek out the same behavior in people that feels comfortable to us. No matter how messed up that is, or if we are used to someone turning our backs on us, we seek that behavior repeatedly. It reiterates a point we've subconsciously told ourselves again and again. I see it much clearer now, and I suppose I needed the lesson, no matter how hard it hurt. Either way, I apologize if I've made you feel uncomfortable. But I do want you to know, I would have never asked for help unless I needed it. Nothing made me feel more alone and helpless. I truly needed help, and I truly thought you would listen. I remember laying on the couch of doom and gloom and thinking about it, how I couldn't survive through this, and then just having this aha moment. I decided I would ask for help. Something that genuinely made me feel really uncomfortable. But I also knew nobody would know I needed help if I ever asked. I thought if I asked, surely someone would help me because that's what I would do for them. A friend told me I was naive to think that people would treat me in the same way that I would treat them. But my therapist said it wasn't naivety at all. It was faith. If this sounds familiar, I had some faith in you for a fleeting minute. I know I sound salty, and that's because I am. I'm on a journey of healing, but it's far from over. I still need to process these emotions because it's a mirror of my past. It's not a one-time thing. It's years and years and years of the same unworthy feeling I've had with me since childhood. I know our paths will never cross again because I learned what you were meant to teach me. It was a hard one, no doubt about that. I know some people are quietly concerned about me. I know because you've asked my friends, family, etc. if I'm okay. Never to me though. I'm not acting the way that I always did. That's because I was a shell of a human for most of my life. That's the me that you knew, day in and day out, going through the same motions and suppressing every emotion I had. I'm learning how to feel, process, and react. I'm just not that person anymore. I might be old now, but my emotional maturity is quite young, immature, and undeveloped. I'm learning, I'm growing, and evolving, and I'm proud of myself. I've never learned to process anything healthy. I'm learning that now. It's interesting, it's hard, it's emotional, it's work, but it's necessary. Anyway, I'm not trying to write a novel here. I guess I'll just sum it up now. Mental health, it's hard work, but I'm fucking worth it, and you are too.